first inning, Volchko walked your first two batters and 10 pitches. How did you like how your offense took advantage of that opportunity?
That was great. It's what we planned on doing, is trying to cause a little bit of havoc there and, work the count, fake bunt, maybe steal. And, once we got a runner on and we got two, it just seemed like we could do a few things and distract him from the play. We know how good he is. And, once he settled in, he struck us out like 5 times in a row. So we just felt like we had to try to manufacture and just do things.
Yeah, when you saw that, he had 7 strikeouts and 8 at-bats against you guys through the third. Just how crucial did you feel that 3-run first inning was against him?
Oh, it was huge. It was huge getting the lead. It, just to give us a little bit of confidence and maybe free us up mentally to try a few more things, stealing. And, you don't gamble that much when you're down, obviously, or maybe even tied in certain situations. But just felt like we needed to try to get in scoring position any way we could, and, we did just enough.
Down in Little Rock on Tuesday night, you mentioned Hunter Dietz had thrown 100 back-to-back weeks, and it was a short turnaround. Was that kind of what you were thinking, 85 pitches somewhere in there for him tonight?
Yeah. He could have finished that inning. It wasn't about matching up right against a right-hander. It was more of, pitch count, two weeks in a row, and then this is a short week for him, So we just felt like we needed to get him out.
Hunter's the last 2 starts as the game 1 guy, but even the Auburn start in game 2, how much is him kind of living up to some expectations, maybe change the trajectory of your season right now?
Well, it's changed conference weekends, the last couple of weekends, really, because he's given us some innings, letting us get into the game, and we'd had some problems with that. And we really, used a lot of people behind in the game. If you use people and you're ahead in the game, you win the game, that's fine. But, yeah, we've been talking about this for months, to be honest with you. It's not like we didn't think that he could flip to number 1 if we wanted him to. And, it's going pretty good right now.
I think last week you might have said, you didn't want Damian hitting leadoff because you didn't want to put too much pressure on him, but he's kind of thriving in this middle of the order role. How good is that to see, driving in runs too?
Well, that was the other part of it that I mentioned. I don't know, maybe not in that conversation, but yeah, I didn't want him to feel like he had to be like the typical leadoff man and stealing bases and doing things until he got going a little bit. But also at the same time, I felt like just Rudenbar had been doing such a great job of drawing walks, fouling off pitches, and he's not the speedster that Damian is, but he's really good up there. And at the same time, I felt like Damian can drive in runs and be that another right-handed hitter to kind of break up some of our lefties that have been hitting in the middle.
That double steal in the 4th, how do you don't sacrifice bunt there, and obviously it works out because you score both runs and maybe you only score 1 if you give up an out. When the decision to maybe do a double steal instead of sacrifice bunt there?
We talked about it, probably about the time the runner got to first base. We had runners at first and second. They both can run. I think it was Souza. And, we wanted to see how it was going to go for a pitch or two, and then we did it.
Carter looks like he's a lot more comfortable in the outfield, and even just, 3-4 weeks he's been out there. How much time is he putting into it? How much are you liking that development, not only for this year, but for the rest of his career?
Yeah, it's, we caught him a little bit. We played him at first yesterday or Tuesday when we started. He's been putting in his time. He puts in time everywhere, honestly. He's a baseball player, but he is getting better out there. His reads on the ball are better. And, I was thinking about, the inning he hit the home run. If he got on base, maybe putting in a different outfielder, maybe even a pinch runner that's faster than him. But when he hit the home run, I said, heck with it. I'm going to leave him out there.
How nice is it to be home for a weekend and to be playing in front of a good crowd on a late Thursday night?
Yeah, it's great. That was a really good crowd for Thursday. I've seen some Thursday crowds around the league that haven't been real good. The game's been really good, competition. But, people have to get up and go to work. There's a lot of stuff going on. Our fans really showed up today, and I'm sure it looked good on TV and it looked great from the dugout.
Aloy 0 for 4 on the day. What would you say the differences were in his at-bats today compared to Tuesday whenever he tallied 3 hits?
First off, the pitching's better. I mean, just straight up, it was better pitching. He did line out to short, but he had a couple opportunities, and yeah, that's really about it. I just think that, you know, I'm sure there was one pitch that I think his last at bat, he had a hang and breaker ball and he missed it, and that's the one you got to get when they make a mistake like that. You got to get it, but other than that, they pitched him pretty good, but. Yeah, I just think it's some pretty good arms coming at him.
You had Parker Coyle up in the 8th, and Ethan was 3-1 to that batter with first base open. How close did you come to going to Parker, and how big was that for Ethan to battle through right there?
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, if he was good, we weren't going to go to him in the 8th. We didn't feel like we had him starting to play catch and do some things, but really the 9th is, you know, if Ethan wasn't going to throw it over the plate, we would have had to get him, but. When he came back, got the 3-2 pitch, then got him ground out second on the full count. You know, we figured he was going to be able to finish the game.
What did you like about the way that he just, you know, pitched through some command issues?
You talking about
Ethan?
McElvain?
Yeah.
Just the fact that, you know, he didn't give in and he didn't panic. He just kept throwing strikes or big pitch when he needed a strike, it seemed like. And, you know, he got a ground ball to third the inning before, when things were starting to go the other way, and then there in the 9th when he had a 3-1 count, he dotted one away and then drew one where he had to swing, and I liked his approach there. You know, it wasn't his best stuff tonight, but that's the way it works with pitchers. You never know if they're going to be, if they're a 95-mile-an-hour guy one day, it might be 93 the next outing. You know, if we were fortunate enough to get him back. You know, say in Game 3, you never know. He might be better. So we'll see how he feels.
Did you like how Gabe pitched for you today? And he only threw 24 pitches. I would assume that he'd be available again.
Yeah, I did. I felt like that his breaking ball was pretty good, and they hit a couple of them hard in the last inning. That he was in there, it almost felt like they spotted something, saw something. They might have been pitches that were left in the middle too much, but. You know, like seems if he can spot that fastball up, he just missed one that could have turned one at bat round. But I liked his stuff tonight.
How confident you feel like the team is right now? I mean, this is, you know, several games in a row you put together against highly ranked teams where you played real well.
Well, I think they're pretty confident. I mean, I feel like that they feel they're going to win. You playing a team like Georgia that's very, very physical. Won 30 games coming in here and leading the SEC outright, and you know, I felt like that. You know, our attitude was good. It was calm before the game, but serious, and you know, we jumped out on that with that 3-run lead. I think that really helped the confidence. But I think the team, I mean, at this point in the season, to be playing pretty solid defense. I mean, you know, we haven't mentioned the play that Poppy made down the third base line might have saved the game. You never know. Ball gets down the line, might have been a problem. But we seem to be making those type of plays and getting some clutch hits. And, yeah, I'd say the team's probably as confident as they've been all year.
Dave, you were on the broadcast when they hit that first home run, and it kind of felt like there was the air taken out the ballpark just a little bit, but it didn't rattle this team. What was that? Where do you credit that mentality to? How were they able to finish?
Well, you know, first off, we always tell them, usually a solo homer is not going to beat you too much. And we gave up 2 of them today. And in the other run, they scored on a wild pitch. So, yeah, I think it might have slowed us down a little bit. You know, they went from 3 to 2. But the key was that was the leadoff hitter, and they didn't score anymore. We got in the dugout and, you know, held them down a little bit, and then we scored 2. So, yeah, the stadium might have got a little nervous, but I think we were okay.
Cool. Thanks for
Okay.